Well, hello again, and good afternoon to those who have just joined us, and thanks to all of you for joining our masterclass on powering digital transformation. We're Procter & Stevenson. Our head office is based in Bristol, but we operate across the globe, particularly Asia, North America, and Europe. We specialise in providing an end-to-end service that covers creative, strategy, and technology needs, typically, but not exclusively, for B2B markets. So we're going to start the presentation now, but just before we do, I want to let you know that there will be a short Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions throughout, please do just send them over to us. You should be able to see a questions box in your control panel. So you can just pop them in there and they will come through to me. And I'm now going to hand you over to Steve to start the presentation.
Thank you, Laura. Hi, everyone. My name is Steve King and I'm the Digital Director here at Procter & Stevenson. I've been in the role for 8 years now, but I've worked in digital for over 2 decades, which is surprising considering that digital is still a relatively new sector and changes are happening all the time. Over the years, I've worked to develop my experience and understanding of technical marketing solutions. And one of the main things I've recognized is that it's a significant challenge for businesses to keep up with such a fast-paced environment. So I'm going to go through some of those key challenges today and how businesses can bring their separate systems into one holistic environment to increase business productivity and profitability. At Procter & Stevenson, we have worked with a huge amount of companies who are embarking on changing their businesses to the new digital world. This has been accelerated in the past year due to the current situation. I won't mention the C word. These companies are embarking on digital transformative activities throughout their businesses in all different departments and areas. An important part of this is that existing and new systems have to be able to communicate with everything else in the IT infrastructure. The investment in these systems means that the full range of features has to be utilized to get the best value and results. To also achieve this, organizations have to ensure that they have access to knowledge and capabilities so they can effectively integrate and manage these systems as one overall infrastructure. We have found that marketing can take a key role within a company to drive digital transformation. The marketing department is often the team who want to drive innovation in how they manage their activities. We know that your businesses use a range of systems to monitor and manage their data and services, including CRM systems, ERP systems, product information management systems, marketing automation systems, and partner relationship management systems. Currently, these systems are usually set up in isolation to assist with one department's objectives. For example, the marketing department would set up the marketing automation systems while the sales team would set up the CRM. This can lead to disjointed management and a downturn in productivity as teams must manually input or export data to build marketing campaigns or enhance their understanding of their customers. We know that much of the data held within these separate systems could be used by other departments to help deliver against the overarching business objectives rather than the department's objectives in isolation. The target for your business should be to unify these systems to ensure they work in tandem with one another, creating an overall infrastructure that is visible and can be accessed by all relevant departments, enhancing each department's understanding of their customers, partners, and services, and allowing them all to work towards growing the business overall. As an example of what can be tackled, we have often noticed that companies have had a disjointed approach to their marketing campaigns. For example, leads were fed into the CRM system via a form on the website, but these leads were not then transferred to the marketing automation system, which has meant the only way to communicate with the converted lead was by manually downloading the data from the CRM and uploading it into the marketing automation system. While this is cumbersome, it also means that data around the collection of the lead and any future behavioral statistics could be lost. It also can have implications for GDPR and the management of your customer data. As you can imagine, for your organization, integrating these systems with each other as a single connected infrastructure could mean you are able to create multi-directional connections that feed information between each of your systems. It fills in the gaps in your customer and partners' behavior, providing insight into what they need from you as a business and how best you can fulfill those needs. This would ensure that all parts of your marketing and sales funnel have the correct and authoritative and useful data available. It also allows you to leverage interfaces and dashboards showing the data from your different systems for a unified real-time view. Here is an example of how systems can work together. Customer data is captured at the website, social marketing events or campaigns using forms to push into the CRM. The CRM data is synchronized to marketing automation system data to enable further communications. The customer data from the CRM is synchronized with an ERP system, such as SAP, for order fulfillment and account management. The ERP system is synchronized with the PIM for product information data. The PIM is synchronized with the website and marketing automation systems to present product information data, such as imagery and specifications. From the crowded marketplace, there are many different systems that can be connected together. And as you can see from the systems that we have used, from the systems that you can see here, we have used to utilize and deliver our integrated solutions. All of these systems have good API integrations. We have also developed a number of in-house solutions, including a bespoke PIM system that allows businesses to update the updating of product specifications for thousands of products in multiple languages across the globe. There is a full range of technologies available used to create connections between systems. So I'm going to give you an idea of what is available. For systems to connect and share data effectively requires an API. The majority of popular applications today all ensure they have an API interface, but there are different levels of implementation with an API. I'm going to demonstrate one for you now. This is an example of a public API that you access via a website address. It's a public API, which means that you don't need authentication details to gain access. Anybody who has the web address will gain access. And from the address, you can see that you can talk, you're talking to the server, you're asking for the service, which is the API service, and here is the query. So what we're asking here is, give me a list of all the people in the Star Wars universe. And as you can see, the first result is Luke Skywalker here. If I change the query, starships, to change it to starships, it will return some results which will list the starships in the Star Wars universe. So this is a straightforward example of how an API works. This is a RESTful API which uses a standard protocol and format to connect different systems, even if they are written in different programming languages and are hosted on different technology stacks. The service acts as a subscription service that other solutions can subscribe to if they have authorized access. This avoids the historical approach of two development teams working together to build a very specific integration between two solutions, which is then not portable. The most straightforward example of an integration between a public website and a CRM is usually set up with some provided code from the CRM that, once placed on the website, sometimes without even needing coding experience, pushes contact form data directly into the CRM. This is by far the most popular approach that many of you are already using. The next level of solutions and tools available are connectors that the most popular applications have created to allow the communication between their application and other mainstream popular applications. For the majority of standard data transfer tasks, these connectors will be quite adequate. While this works really well for the specific task of collecting data, it doesn't address how to manage the data between multiple systems or how to extend its use. This would involve addressing questions such as, how do we get the collected data from the CRM to the broadcast channels, such as a marketing automation system? What is the strategy for synchronizing this data? As an example, is the CRM record the record of authority? Which different system can update the record authority and which can only read the data? If the data between the systems doesn't match in structure, how do we transform this data? If there is a large amount of data that needs to be transferred, how is this processed effectively without affecting performance? Having experience of these sorts of challenges to a business is incredibly important. For this, we have custom integrations. For integrations that need more than a standard connector, such as bidirectional updates on different data objects and transforming the data from one structure to another structure. This type of integration will utilize a well-documented API interface to allow both parties to work together to get the data regularly transformed and transferred. As an example, we have created integrations between systems that allow for registration requests from a partner portal to be presented to a CRM, where a telemarketer will approve or reject the request and present the data back to the partner portal. Any updates to this data on either side will be synchronized across both systems. Another example is where there is a need for an integrated feed that collects data from multiple sources and transforms that data before feeding it into the destination system as a single entity. This has been a pretty common undertaking for our team. This same approach helps to tackle legacy data. With the myriad connectors available between the popular systems that work with the standard approach, marketers would expect integrations between these systems would be fairly routine. Real-world situations can make this more difficult. Lots of businesses have legacy systems that, even though they are old and out of date, are still crucial to the running of that business, and the data stored within them is valuable, but also needs to be shared. Connecting to these systems is usually presented as a blocker to any initiatives that a company requires, and it is felt too complex and just too difficult. Creating solutions and strategies to extract and update data from legacy systems needs a level of knowledge and experience that is not available to everyone. We have a current integration with a legacy mainframe system, as I've just described, where we crawl over 2 million records repeatedly. This type of integration needs to be reliable, secure, and does not impact performance. We know that integrations we've just described have major benefits to your business. To illustrate this, our partner portals allow for easy communication between an organization and resellers, with global companies that have resellers based across the world. It is pivotal to the financial goals of the company that resellers have a quick and easy access to the tools they need to make sales. In many cases, resellers need the ability to apply discounts to potential customers. This requires quick communication with the supplier to authorize the discount and make the sale. By having a partner portal and a CRM integrated, authorization can be given instantaneously, thus shortening the sales cycle and freeing up the reseller to move on to the next sales, while also retaining a good relationship with their customer. One of the major benefits of connecting and managing all of your data connections gives you the ability to create views so you can monitor and analyze the data from all of the different systems. Interfaces and dashboards can be created to allow the business to monitor in real-time targets that are specific to that business. This ensures that not only is the correct data being used, there is visibility of any changes that happen across all of the different systems as they communicate. At Procter & Stevenson, and our work with clients such as Panasonic, Osborne Clarke, and Rathbones, we have seen it all when it comes to systems integration. We know and understand the full range of different integrations available and will utilize existing connectors, but we'll also create custom integrations to ensure cost effectiveness and business process effectiveness if required. We also understand how to present interfaces to present the data in all forms. We understand that many businesses could be scared away by the idea that this level of integration will will require months of development, large investments, and plenty of meetings to map out how the system will work. However, having seen and worked with so many systems over the years, we've developed an established and robust process that means we can work with both a detailed API and a traditional system that doesn't have the required level of documentation. Today, most systems pride themselves on the ease of integration, meaning there is in place detailed API documentation that allows for smooth and easy integrations and bidirectional communication. Essentially, you don't need to have to blow your annual budget to create one unified infrastructure, nor will you have to worry about an extended timeline that requires thousands of calls and hundreds of mapping meetings. Developing an integrated infrastructure that holds all of your business data is now easier than ever, and in a digital-first environment such as today, more important than ever. And that's the end of the presentation, Laura.
Okay, great. We have had a few questions just while you were talking. So the first question is, what kind of return on investment can be achieved?
What kind of return on investment can be achieved? We've worked on projects for clients in America where we developed a mobile app that pulls data from a legacy system, and it has reduced the cost per lead down to 30% from what it originally was. And this is fairly typical in terms of some of the benefits and the cost savings that we can make.
Okay, great. And how long does it take to implement a custom integration between two systems?
It really depends on the requirements, but for an average custom integration on mature systems, it doesn't take too long. It takes between 3 and 4 weeks. It's pretty routine, pretty standard for us.
Okay, brilliant. And then the next question we have is, what was the most challenging integration project that you've worked on?
We've done quite a lot over the years. In terms of the most challenging, I think it's usually in terms of complexity. So we've pulled in data from legacy systems where we've had to set the value of, just use an example, hi-fi and audio. We've had a set of data coming in that we had to translate a single number to the value of hi-fi and audio. This is a sort of an example of digital data transformation. And in this single feed data, the first tranche of the data, we had a single number, which could be anything from 1 to 9, and an asterisk was being used as a wildcard, so it could be 1 to 9 as an asterisk used as a wildcard, which we would translate to the value hi-fi and audio. In the second tranche of data on the same file, they had changed the way that they were managing the data, and so an asterisk was no longer used as a wildcard, it was taken as a literal value. So we had to create a data transformation script that checked the first tranche and the second tranche in the same data feed. And this is the type of, so in terms of data integrations, usually the straightforward, going back to things like CRMs and Salesforce, it's fairly straightforward to map the data going from one system to another system. You're mapping it to field containers. But if you're adding in transformation as well, this is where you go down to the realms of custom integration, things like that.
All right, brilliant. Well, thank you very much. And I think there's a couple of other questions that I think we'll take offline and we'll come back to people on individually. If anybody else does have a further question that comes to mind after the session, please do email them over to us, as you know, we'd obviously love to talk more. And we will be in touch just with an explainer video after the session, which hopefully you'll find helpful. And I think that's everything from us, but thanks again for joining us.
Thanks.
And thanks, Steve.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time.